Hello, welcome to my channel. So today's video I want to dedicate to atomic habits principles and my morning routine. So I want to share with you how I am improving my morning routine and habits, implement habits and get rid of some habits by implementing atomic habits principles at its core. First time I read this book was in March 2020. If you remember, it was COVID. There was nothing else to do. It was the first months of lockdown, and I found this amazing book and I so much loved it that it's in my top 10 most favorite books still in 2023. I love it so much, and today I'm happy to share with you the main idea behind this book and the implementation and how it really works. If you're talking about habits, right, you can either implement and build good habits and implement these habits into your routine, or there can be some really bad habits that you can already have in your life, like smoking, drinking alcohol, picking the phone in the morning, or for example staying late and binge watching some series, or binge eating. So there are lots of bad habits that you can also get rid of, and his system helps with both implementing good habits into your routine to make sure that they stick, along with getting rid of bad habits so they don't affect your life and you can just kick them out of your routine.
So today I want to start with giving you an overview of what the atomic habits is and the main principles behind it. The very first thing that fascinated me the most is the idea of building not just habits for a tick in your notebook, but to become a better person. So James Clear is calling these identity-based habits, where you focus on who you are, who you want to be, and how these changes in your habits could lead you to this ideal person. So the first law and the first step is to make it obvious if you're talking about the implementation about the habit, or make it invisible if you're talking about getting rid of the habit. So our brain builds habits by noticing repeated cues and predicting outcomes without conscious thoughts. Therefore, awareness is the key to change the habit. Now I will start throwing into you different tips and tricks that could help you with building these habits. And the first one that I want to share with you, it is called the implementation intention method, but I am simply calling this 3 W's. So it helps you build a habit by using 2 obvious cues: time and location. So in my 3 W scheme, it is what, where, and when. Another great trick that I am using constantly, it is called the habit stacking. So instead of just introducing some new habit into your routine, you can stack them between the habits that already exist, so that it'll be much more easier for you to get the cues and just do a new thing right between 2 already established habits. We are pretty special spatial creatures, and context means a lot to us, so it makes sense to design your environment and, for example, put a bowl of fruits and hide your cookies in the kitchen to convert your context into a cue.
So if it was me, so what I'd do, for example, if my goal was to exercise, so I'd make it obvious. I'd put my sport clothes right near the bathroom. So the first thing that I see and the first thing that I can dress is my sport clothes. So it's already -1 step. So it's super obvious, along with, for example, putting my sneakers right near the door so that I can very easily just put them. And this is a reminder for me just to go and exercise. And recently we bought Peloton. It's an amazing thing. And it stands right in front of the fridge where I spend in the kitchen, in the living room, where I spend a lot of time. So this is a constant reminder for me to exercise, so you'll never forget about it. Second is, for example, if you want to do healthy eating, right? So it's not like make it obvious, so it's in reverse. You have to make sure that you don't see bad food, so you can make it invisible and hide all the food very on the top of the shelf. So for example, I have this after 8 chocolate that I allow myself sometimes to eat with my coffee as a glucose ingestion into my body. So I'm putting this at the very top shelf, so I need to take a chair to get into this shelf. And these few seconds, they save me from the obesity, I think, because otherwise I'd eat probably like 10 of them. But I have these 3 magic seconds till I get to this chocolate to make my decision, to make my another decision, right? And just to take one chocolate. So make it as hard as possible to get to bad food and create the environment of healthy food. If we're talking about reading, for example, so I have a dedicated chair downstairs with a lamp, which is very cozy. I have a stockpile of books that I can choose from if, for example, I'm in the mood of some fiction or non-fiction or particular fiction. So I'm just creating lots of different choice options, and also create the environment where I know that this is the place for reading. Or water, right? So we all seem to have problems with drinking enough water. So what I did, I just put water everywhere, so definitely it can start be smelly, right? But fortunately it's not the case in my case. I trying to drink a lot of water, and like, for example, here I have one bottle on one side of the table, I have another bottle on another side of the table. So I'm just trying to surround myself with water everywhere, so that whenever I look, whenever I look, I feel thirst. I already feel like, okay, yeah, I am thirsty, right? So I want to drink water, and it's right near here, right near me. So this is also part of my morning routine, where I just feel lots of water bottles with the water, lots of cups with water, so that I can very easily access water whenever I want to drink.
The second step is called craving, and the main idea here is to make the habit attractive or unattractive. So in the whole loop is, first we have this cue. This is where we just quickly notice things. But the second is the brain processes this, and that's when it decides whether to act upon it or not. The trick here is to build the anticipation of the reward, because there were studies that shown that the dopamine raises more during the anticipation of the reward rather than the reward itself at the point of time. Another trick is temptation bundling, where you can stack the habits, for example, current habit, that habit that I need, and then the habit that I want. Step 3 is the response. Literally, once you make your mind do something, it should be physically very easy to do this if you're building the habit, or hard if you're breaking one. Trick number 1 is reduce the number of steps. Make it so simple to do without overwhelming it. Second is prime your environment. Prepare the bottles of water, prepare the shoes, prepare the clothes, prepare the food, prepare the books. Another trick is something that I've been refusing for a very long time, but it really works. It is called a 2-minute rule. Just start very small. When you start a habit, make it 2 minutes. 2 minutes workout on the cycle, 2-minute run, 2-minute walk, 2-minute read. And finally, the 4th step. This is the reward step, and it's your simple carrot and stick rule, where you have to either make it satisfying or make it painful, so that you can learn from your previous experience and make this habit stick or get it out of your routine. The tricks here are very simple. The first one is to make it immediate, the reward immediate, so that your brain associates that if you get your habit done, then you get a dopamine, a satisfaction from doing something that you like, or vice versa. If you do something bad, then you make the experience painful to make sure that your brain does not connect, wouldn't want to make this habit again. And the second trick is to make a chain to make sure that you won't miss 2 days in a row of not doing or doing bad habits.
Okay, we've learned a lot. So that's good. Knowledge is good. But how do you actually implement this? That's probably the biggest problem always with knowledge. You learn books, you listen to podcasts, you read some summaries, you hear something, but what next? Next thing is that you will try to implement this into your routines. So in my particular example, I took my morning routine. So I'll just write down everything that I'm doing right now, try to identify something that I don't like, that I want to get rid of, that doesn't make good for me, and something that I really want to implement into this morning routine to make it better.
First thing first, I wrote down everything that I'm doing already today. Every morning, something inevitable happens. I wake up. And this is the starting point, the neutral point where you can start all the other habits that you have. Usually, I am taking my phone, I'm looking into some social media, some notifications, and just wasting maybe like 20-30 minutes just laying down and doing nothing. But because my phone is recording me right now, I can't do this. And to be honest, this is what I'd prefer to do. Just wake up and stand up. I open the curtains, I open the window to put some fresh air into the room. I'm making the bed, putting my Apple Watches on to start tracking my day and go into the next room, to the bathroom. So I'm brushing my teeth. I am using an electronic toothbrush, and to be honest, I couldn't be happier about this. So if you have any doubts about electronic toothbrush, just don't. I'm using Medicaid for my skincare routine. I just love it. I'm waiting in, I'm brushing my hair, I'm changing my clothes, and bringing all the stuff and going downstairs. So there, I switch on the lights, I open the window, I pour myself a cup of salt water, and choosing the coffee, making myself a delicious coffee, and preparing myself for the most exciting and calming part of my day is the journaling practice. I can't explain how much I love this part where I'm just sitting with my Borises, these are the names of my journals, and just writing down my thoughts, my task lists, my progresses, and my goals, challenges. This is like the mental starting point of the day for me. Let's be honest here, let's add the sit in my phone point. And one more thing that I wanted to add is workouts, but it didn't really work out for me. I can work out throughout the day, but I can't force myself to do this in the morning. I love workouts, but not in the morning. So I decided to implement a sun exposure. Let's start with the habit that we want to implement. This is the sun exposure. And if you remember, we have this cue, craving, response, and reward. And let's draw something for this particular habit implementation. First things first, I started with 3W process where I put what, where, and when. Right after that, I put the habit stacking. So right after drinking the salt water and unfolding our washing machine, which is, his name is Ben, I will walk outside, and after I'm back, I'll drink my coffee. As step number 1, cue, which to make it obvious, I'll put the warm sweater on the piano and also put the tracker with my access where I'm tracking my habit on the kitchen. These two things should pique my attention. Step 2 is cravings, is to make it attractive. So remember I mentioned that the anticipation of the reward, it raises more dopamine than the reward itself. So because I won't be picking up my phone, this is the habit that I'll be getting rid of. So the anticipation of getting a walk should be associated with something that I'm really looking forward to. So I decided that when walking, I can check my social media, my phone, all the notifications. So I'll be looking forward to take this walk because I want to check my phone. And second, I'm also this tracker freak, so I'll turn on the step tracking and start seeing my rings getting close, which will also make me satisfied. The third step is the response step when your body responds to your mind for the craving. So the simple rule here is a 2-minute rule. So you have to start really small, and I'm starting with just 2 minutes walks. I don't need to make like 5-10 minutes, just 2 minutes. It's literally less than around the block. And second rule is I'm also adding here my priming effect. So I'm putting the shoes near the door, so it will be very easy for me to just put the shoes on and get out. And step number 4 is the reward step, is to make this step satisfying. It's super easy for me because it's already in my routine, so I can just come back home and make myself the most delicious cup of coffee and just start journaling.
What I did here is I implemented new habit with Atomic Habits principles at its core. So what I did, I took the cue, so something that will remind me to get outside in the future. For example, this sweater that I put right into the on the piano, so it will remind me that, okay, you can take a sweater, you won't be cold, it will be easy to do this. Second is definitely the shoes, which will also help me simplify the steps. Craving, because I will be eliminating my phone picking in the morning, so I'll be craving for this. And if I associate like, okay, if you get out to expose yourself to the sun, this is the time when you can actually take your phone. So I'll be looking forward to this motion, and I would really want to do this faster and faster. Third is response, right? Is to priming the effect, is to make the body move after your brain said like, okay, let's do this. So make the body move. So to make the body move, we have to simplify the steps. So already sweater is on me, the shoes are already there. All I have to do is just put my shoes on, open the door, and get out. That's super easy. So I simplified it just to perfection. And fourth is looking forward to something after that. So not just, for example, social media check-in, but after I did this, so get some reward for what I've done. And my reward is coffee. I'm a coffee addict, I know. But that's how I implemented a new routine, a new habit into my morning routine that will hopefully increase my satisfaction of life.
Now let's move to how get rid of habit overview. So my get rid of habit is no phone picking in the morning, and again I'll start with the 3W process. So for me it will be once I wake up, I will stand up in the bedroom and start doing all the other habits. First step is the keys to make it invisible, so it's pretty clear. I should put my phone on another charger far from the bed. Second part here is craving, is to make this habit unattractive, and it's pretty hard with the phone because phone gives you lots of dopamine, instant dopamine and satisfaction from all these notifications and likes and so on and so forth. But what I'll be doing is I'll be trying to associate and convince myself that news are bad, and especially in today's world there are lots of bad news that you get from the phone. And second is calculate how much time I spend in the morning, like 20-30 minutes at least, just scrolling through the news. Okay, step 3 is our response step. So we have to make it really hard to do this action. So first I'll put my phone on another shelf, although it's super inconvenient during the night, before the night, and I have this nice 3-in-1 charger that I specifically bought to put all these items together, but it's okay. I will try to charge my phone on another place because it's definitely worth it. And second, I'll try to switch. I'll switch picking up my phone with picking up my watches and Apple Watch. And step number 4, the reward step. I have to make it really painful. So what I came up with is, if I take my phone in the morning before my morning walk, I'll have to pay £10 to my husband every time. It sucks. I don't want to do this, so probably I won't be picking up the phone.
What we did here is we again went through the whole circle. So we make the phone invisible. We'll put it right over there because I step here. You see this nice 3-in-1 thing. I have to get rid of it. Not to get rid of it, but just charge my watch and AirPods. But I'll put the charger right over there with my phone. Second is the Craving. So I have to make it unattractive. That's probably the hardest part because it's hard to associate the phone with just bad news because it's completely like phone even equal likes, phone equal news, phone equal friends, family, and so on and so forth. So I really have to associate phone with time spent and with some bad news that we constantly see right now in the social media. Third is response, make it really hard, right, to reach. So again, I'm gonna just put this guy over there, so it will be really hard for me to take it from there, or maybe even there, I don't know. And also I'll switch this with my Apple Watch so that I'll still have something to pick in the morning. That's better Apple Watch so that I can also check the time and the weather, and just then stand up and open the window curtains and so on and so forth. And the reward, but it's not really a reward, it's more like a painful reward, because if I check my phone in the morning, I'll have to pay this guy £10 every time. I hope it was helpful. Just like everyone else, I am struggling with practicing things that I'm learning. I'm reading lots of books and listening to Huberman podcasts and lots of other resources. But what about the implementation of all this knowledge, right? We have so many things that we know, but we are not changing our lifestyle. And it's a great book. I really love this book. It's so great that I recommend this to everyone. And I just said like, okay, like I know that this book is great and I know that it's true, right? It sounds amazing. So why can't I just do this? And it just takes some time, you know, just take the pen, to take the paper, to sit down and spend 20-30 minutes strategizing, thinking like, hey, this is my current morning routine. So that's what I like, that's what I don't like. This is the like stumbling blocks that can't move, for example, with me waking up, right? So I cannot not wake up, like yes, I have to wake up, right? And then this is my starting point where I do all the other things. And I can, for example, not pick up the phone, but I can just stand up, right? Or for example, I'm already down, so I can just take 2-3 minute walk, right? And then reward myself with this. So we just need to spend some time to try to implement this into practice, and it's doable, right? We just need to really time, that's all we need, and some effort and some brain. So I hope that today's video really helped you understand how to put all this knowledge into practice and in real life change your routines and habits and get rid of some and implement some good ones, and it's possible. If you like this video, I would highly appreciate if you like it and subscribe to my channel. That would inspire me to create more resources like this. Thank you. Have a good day.